How do we define our identity? What price are we willing to pay to keep it? In this text, Jervis explores disputes within Native American tribes and the complicated question about identity that they raise in the legal battle over the Nooksack 306. More than family jobs, homes, and territory rights, this plays a main role in their identities, who they were and where they belong, their citizenship, and all the emotional ties and territory rights that come with it. The skepticism of the author of the different techniques and methods to determine the veracity of the Native American identity can be clearly seen in different parts of the text. There is no specific way to determine Native American identity. The Constitution does not define it. Many tribes were denied or they refused recognition. Tribal boundaries were generally fluid, intermarriage and alliances were common. All these factors influence the image of the Native American nowadays. She presented specific stories and cases to appeal to the emotion of the readers. In addition, she emphasized different phrases that constantly claim for their identity, values that independently of the background create an emotional response in the audience. She framed and explored social issues that we take as a granted nowadays and make you question about your own identity and roots. While reading this passage, I cannot avoid relating them to different situations that are currently happening in my country with indigenous population and the basis on what they are building their identity. Population that in their isolation for preserving their culture suffer diseases, poverty, hunger, and vulnerability to corruption. These situations are concerned about their cultural identity and how positive and negative discrimination can affect and influence their communities. Until which point it is moral and ethically correct to isolate them to keep their culture and traditions? How can we define identity when the forces of globalization constantly affect it? Which benefits and consequences are we promoting while we protect native population identities? Is this system creating more division than unions and understanding of cultures? Aren't we again imposing our Western system to classify them as simple animals? Understanding the real problem of this phenomenon allows us to understand that their identity or culture are not the problem here. The problem here is the system in which we frame them. A portrait which alters their identity, which inaccurate comparison shaping in our own understanding. Reading about different approaches to the concept and importance of identity helped me to recognize the different cultural perspectives about these issues. In different cultural contexts, as Latin America and United States, I could juxtapose the different approaches used by these regions with their native population and realize that there is no correct answer yet to face this problem, but we can identify our system as responsible for the segregation of these tribes. Meanwhile, in our desperation to act or not upon this situation, we keep at the same time constantly affect them, ignoring them or influence them.